Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you, Yahuwah. Your enemies thought they would retaliate, but he's still washing them away. Somebody was like, I thought it was your golden hour. Oh, it is. Don't you realize the Father is building up his reign and that he's clearing the path for all of those people he has really truly selected? It's takeover time. And he literally used his people, just like me, to get the filth out of the way, to get all of these false prophetic voices on YouTube, to get all of these false pillars in the community out of the way, to get all these false people in politics and government and all these positions, to put his people in place and position to remove the sons of disobedience in every sector, in every part, in every corner of the world where it is important for him to build up for these next seasons. See, they didn't realize that they are still thought they was coming against Elohim. Thought they could steal from Elohim's people. That wealth transfer is happening. The enemies are being washed away. They're dying. It doesn't matter if you're offended because you are a son of disobedience. It doesn't matter if you were offended because you know you serve Satan. It doesn't matter if you were offended because you were like, oh, you think you know what's best. We do. Elohim has given us the ability, according to his word, to discern what is best. And Elohim is what is best. They thought they could come and bring their pride schemes. And I mean the spirit of pride. They thought they could come against the attacks in the minds of the people. They thought they could intimidate. They thought that they could lie on us. They thought they could steal, kill, and destroy. Why? Because they serve Satan. And they know they serve Satan. Those fake warlocks and those fake witches, they thought they could do that in communities. They thought they could use relatives and distant relatives. They thought they could use different sectors of government. They thought they could use, they get offended because you say drug sorcery. And they work in drug sorcery. Get offended because you say witchcraft and they work in witchcraft because they do money spells and all of these stupid things. They thought that they could come against Elohim. Because like John, like Abraham, like so many who came before us, like Messiah himself, we serve Elohim, the only one true living Elohim. And we are as he is. They thought that they could copy our ideas, create trailers, copy our content ideas, and thought they could, what is it called, Father? What's it called? Censor. They thought they could censor us in the community, any community went to. They thought they could censor us around the world. They thought they could censor us around the U.S. They thought they could do those things. But they were wrong. Why are they wrong? Because they serve Satan. And why are they wrong? Because Elohim is truth. And anyone not walking with the truth, living in the truth, and dwelling in the truth is in a lie. We are with the one who is true. Everything they say is a lie. All of those efforts that they were doing is a lie. Oh, you about to go on here and not tell something that's true. That's not. You are the ones telling lies, and you know you're telling lies. Why? Because we're sharing the word, and the word is true. And every bit of the word is true, and it is being fulfilled or has been fulfilled. Every single prophecy the Father has given us to share has been fulfilled or is being fulfilled. Every single warning to heed, even warnings about the Father revealing, oh, this child or that child or this thing or that thing, coming forth to heed. Every single thing about there's a time frame. Some things are happening in a day, some things happen, and it takes 10 years, 20 years, 5 years. There's absolutely no fear in the people of Elohim. That's why he chose his selected ones. Because he's trained them. Because he's taught them. Because he's their teacher. Because he's the best life has to offer. He is the best. And anyone who wants life, an eternal life, chooses him in his way. Anyone who wants to fulfill the purposes and the best and actually dwell in life agrees with the plan that he has for their life. Their life. Anybody else lying? When the Father says this man is coming and this is going to happen, and he said it and been saying it for years, and he affirms it through his disciples, and he affirms it through his other taught ones, and he affirms it through many prophets all over the world, and he affirmed it in his word, be sure it's absolutely going to occur. Be sure when it comes directly from the mouth of Elohim and directly from Messiah and directly from the messengers of the Shemaim, it's absolutely going to occur. No one can stop it just because they feel this way or that way. It doesn't matter. We already told people it doesn't matter if you don't like what we have to say. The word of Elohim is sure. It doesn't matter if his messengers, even earthly messengers such as myself, delivering a message, if you don't agree with it. Because Elohim is the truth. And his word comes forth and it never returns void. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. It's just like when he says, nothing shall separate us from the love of Elohim. They thought they could block Elohim from out of our life. They thought they could steal him. People literally thought they could steal the love of Elohim. They thought they could steal Elohim out of our life. They thought they could rob us of Elohim. Rob his children, rob his people, like through the intimidations, and the other prophets around the world know it. We're one. The true sons of Elohim are one with the Father. And we all know what he's been saying. Because it's not just something new. The Father is the same and he has not changed. And what he said 6 years ago is still the same today. What he said 5 years ago, still the same today. What he said 4, 3, 2, a year ago, this year is still the same today. What he said 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago is the same today. His word does not return void. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. Nothing. You try as you will with all your human might. What is impossible for man is not impossible for Elohim. Not impossible for Elohim. So these people who are angry because they won't get their way, because some people are afraid to be exposed for the molestation that they've done, older men and people in these initiations and organizations. And they and talk about lies. Well, if it was lies, why do we have first-hand accounts? And why are there other first-hand witnesses? And why are there reports? Why have agencies, intelligence agencies have reports on these things? Just like child abductions, just like human trafficking, just like so many other things. Just like old wise members of the community, true wise members of the community, true followers of Elohim, true elders of the assembly of Elohim. You thought that you could block stuff out because you know the Father is taking over. It's time for the rule of Elohim. Satan's time has come to an end. It is dwindling out. That's why the kingdoms are falling, have fallen, and will continue to fall. Because he's ushering in his presence in his rule for such a time as this. So it's way bigger than any evil being, any evil son of disobedience, any evil devil, any evil demon, any evil principality could try to come against. It doesn't matter if you try to take over a country as a principality, if you try to have a whole region. It doesn't matter if you have to try to have a slice of a country. It doesn't matter. There is nothing that is higher than Elohim in the Shemai. He's a creator. So you try to come against his plans, it means nothing. You try to come against his people, it means nothing. You try to intimidate his people, it means nothing. You try to get them to stop, it means nothing. Because he will resurrect them once again from the ashes. They stumble and they will get back up again. If you try to trip them, they will get back up again. If you try to ensnare them, they will get back up again. If you try to put them in captivity, they will rise again and again and again. Because they are the sons of Elohim, and they are the ones in the land of the living, and they are those of the living. Elohim is those of the living, not those of the dead. The sons of disobedience are a part of the liar and the father of lies, and they are the one of death, and they are dead because they have of themselves counted themselves unworthy of life. Messiah says it. That's why we released the book. We release the books. We release the things he instructed us to, which is why anyone who has come against that son of disobedience, it's like a curse to them. Anyone who's tried to steal from a son of Elohim, they have put a curse on themselves. It's like when an old grandmother prays over her possessions in her house, and somebody tries to come and steal some money. Somebody tries to come and steal something out of her wallet. That is a curse to them because she already prayed to the Elohim whom it belongs to. We already prayed to the Elohim whom everything belongs to. And anybody trying to steal from his storehouses, steal from his people, have put woe upon themselves. That's why in that dream they are washed away. Because woe unto you. Woe unto those places. He said that. When he sends a messenger, when he sends one of his taught ones, when he sends one of his believers to a place to go and share a message, or to go to labor in his field, and anything opposition tries to come against that, woe to them. Because when he tells us to kick the dust from our feet, he says it will be worse for them. That's why it's a woe. That's why it's a woe. These people coming around, you try to insult Elohim. Put pride against our mind. I mean the spirit of pride, anger, envy, jealousy. There's no reason for people to be envious of us when they have the opportunity to be a son of Elohim. They chose to do witchcraft and chose to be against Elohim and therefore chose death. We're not to blame because you're choosing death. We are not to blame because you're choosing to try to stand in the way of Elohim building his kingdom on this earth as it is in the Shemai. And you will answer for it. Your envy against us, your jealousy against us, your coveting what belongs to us given to us by Elohim. You are coveting what belongs to us, given to us by Elohim. You are sitting against him. You are committing crimes against Elohim. You are committing slander against Elohim. You are committing crimes against the plans of Elohim. You are fighting against the Ruach of Elohim and the righteousness of Elohim. These people who keep talking about they build their team. Again, your words witnessed against you. Your words witness against you. You speak the words of Satan. You think you building a team on this earth? You think that you have any power and authority over Elohim, that you're above him? This isn't about you building what you want. This is about Elohim building his plan, his reign. You try to stand in the way of that, woe to you. because you are an offense against him. You are an assault against Elohim. You are the ones that spoke and murmured against Moshe in the wilderness. And he said, you don't murmur against me. You are murmuring against Elohim. This is his earth. Everything belongs to it, including you. So you coveting what belongs to us from the Father. If he ascribed it to us, when he's ascribed a field for us to labor in, when he's ascribed a sheepfold, when he's ascribed the land and possessions and inheritances and territories, because it's about his kingdom. When he's ascribed a plan for the future, a hope in the future for his people, and you think you can come in against that, oh, woe to you. You will see the plagues. You will see, because you put yourself in the way of his plans. You covet what belongs to Elohim. You come in and covet what belongs to Elohim. And I'm talking, of course, to the ones who try to retaliate against the plans of Elohim. The ones who are trying to retaliate against the rule of Elohim, against the kingdom of Elohim, against the kingdom of righteousness. You are not coming against the kingdom of darkness. That's why those who do witchcraft, you continue to witness against yourselves. Because even the prophets around the world have warned you. Around the world. Every prophet around the world, true prophet, have warned you. You false people on YouTube, you false people in the media spaces, and you think you can hold off because you know the Father's taking even over the media spaces. Censor no more. Because his rule is entering in. And that spirit of ignorance, that cloud, the one he spoke of in Revelations, that have been over the people, and not having them just in a slumber and a stupor, but had them walking in ignorance to the way and the truth of Elohim, that have had them under different spiritual oppressions, that people have deliberately, woe to you, witches and warlocks and evil people who have been trying to keep Elohim's people oppressed. Woe to you, false leaders. Woe to you, false shepherds. Woe to you. Woe to you, false title holders in position of governments who are being dethroned because you are disobedient to Elohim and you have not done what he has told you to do in the position he gave you. Woe to you, those of you who have had the reign taken away from you like Saul. Woe to you who thought anytime you could be in a position and then do what Saul did, do what Nebuchadnezzar did, and be corrected and wiped out. He gave time. Put you in a wilderness you want to be, and put yourself above Elohim, put your statue above Elohim. Okay, he's going to take you out and give you the lesson. Let that man become like a beast until he yielded to Elohim. That's not. And people want to flip the script, and still you're doing witchcraft. We are not doing that. You're coming against the children of Elohim. We're not doing that. You're coming against the word of Elohim. We're not doing that. You again witness of yourselves that you are the sons of disobedience. You going around here lying to the Elohim's people and telling them that it's the true sons of Elohim that are the ones that are the problem. No, we are not the ones who Elohim is warning his children against. It's you. The ones who are doing witchcraft, the ones who are trying to keep his people in a state of spiritual oppression, the ones who are trying to keep his people ignorant of the way of truth, the way to eternal life, the ones who are trying to keep his people captive to the ideologies of man, The ones who are trying to keep his people captive to the world's way and enmity with Elohim. The ones who think that they can have mind control games and playing and brainwashing of Elohim's people and creation. See, yes, Yah will cleanse your mind. Yah will renew your mind like a washing, but in the righteous way. Satan tries to replicate what Yahuwah does. That's why woe to you ones who try to replicate what the true children of Elohim are doing. You try to take the true messages of Elohim and try to utilize them for yourself. But woe to you, because you can't use it to pump up your kingdoms. Your ill-gotten gain will be for naught. You're coming in and you're slandering Elohim's people will be for naught. Everything y'all are doing is for naught. Because again, anyone who tries to tap into the livelihood, into the space, into the mind of Elohim's people in an ungodly way, you witness against yourself. If you are doing witchcraft, you have witnessed against yourself that you are a son of disobedience. You are a son of disobedience, all of you. All of you trying to speak on behalf of the ones who Elohim has selected for his kingdom. Father, I spoke to the Father because there's all these people that are like, this person's trying to do this and do that. They're trying to do this and that with their life. No, they know the truth. They already accepted the call of Elohim. It is you sons of disobedience who haven't accepted the call. You sons of disobedience who are trying to enslave that man and those people from accepting and walking in their call of Elohim, just like you're trying to block us. Because you don't want the takeover, because you know you are wiped out and you know you are defeated. You know he's washed you away and you know you're not walking in the truth. You know you're not walking in love. We are walking in the perfect love of Yahuwah. We have the perfect love of Yahuwah. Y'all are the ones walking in the world's fears. And then you're trying to lie and manipulate and say, oh, you're doing that. You're the one that's trying to project like, oh, no, it's really you doing all those things. No, you're the liar, devil. You're the liar, Satan. You're the one that's trying to cover yourselves, right? That's why they're not exposing themselves. They operate according to the word. How the word says, they have tried to keep themselves in the dark because they hate the truth and they don't want to be brought to the light. All of these people, you don't see them speaking up and coming out and coming to the light and saying, this is what I'm doing. This is what Elohim told me to do. They're trying to hide. They're still trying to hide in the darkness. They are still trying to hide in the darkness. I'm not hiding who I am. This isn't about me. But that's why we're on here. We shared our testimony. We had nothing to hide. We're sharing everything that Elohim has given us to share and release. Because he has a purpose for it. He used it, as I said. They thought they could come and learn the things of Elohim. But they served Hasatan. And as the Hasatan said to the fallen ones, there's no remorse for them. In the Nephilim, there's no remorse for them. There's no remorse. That's why they had to tell us who they were. They had to tell us they were witches and warlocks. They had to, because the word says it. They had to tell us who they were, but they still try to hide in the darkness. They still try to serve the kingdom of darkness. And they're trying to get people, again, who've already accepted their calling by Elohim. They're still trying to keep those people ensnared and oppressed. They tried to block their front view. Like you trying to sit here and block us, Hasatan, the people that's your Hasatan, your principalities. You can't block us. You can't stop us in front. You can't stop us from going forward. It is impossible. Why? Because Elohim has already sent forth his word. His kingdom is already prophesied. His reign, his purposes, and his plans are already prophesied, and you can't change it. So that's why he has to wash them away. That's why they were forewarned that some of them will literally die. And I'm not talking about dying in 3 years' time. I'm not talking about dying in 5 years, 10 years. I'm not talking about the dying at the end of a life. But instantly, in that dream, they were washed away. Why? Because they have continued to try to block, stop, and hinder Elohim's kingdom. This isn't about us physical people, just his children. Yes, he doesn't allow that against his children. But this is about you trying to block, and you're trying to block the kingdom of Elohim from coming. The prophecies of Elohim from being fulfilled. The way of the future from being ushered in. It has to come because his son has to return at the appointed time. And anyone and anything that will be try to be a hindrance in the way of that, kick the dust from your feet, and woe to those. Woe, woe, calamity comes to those who try to stop the reign, the rule, the plans, the future purposes of Elohim. It's not about y'all's little feelings. Yah cares about his children. He cares about how we feel he loves us. But he's not going to stop all of eternity for the flesh of one person. He's not. He's not going to stop all of eternity for the flesh of, it says the last days which we are in. Messiah said even when he was on the earth before, it was even in the last days. And how do we know it's the last days? Because there are many anti-messiahs. And many anti-messiahs. He already flooded the earth because humanity failed. They failed their duty. He said it before. If Elohim has to intervene, which is what he's doing right now, it means humanity failed. In the dream and in the vision, those people of humanity failed to obey Elohim. They failed to acknowledge Elohim. They failed to serve Elohim. They failed to keep watchful to Elohim and him coming in his reign and his son, and watchful to the door. And those who were contrary to him, they failed to not go contrary to the way of life. And he washed them away. He had to intervene because they were standing in the way of not only me, but his children who are being obedient to him and ushering him ushering in his reign. He had to move the blockage out of the way. He had to move what was contrary out of the way. He had to move what was in the front. He had to clear the path forward. We're not living in the past. These people who keep doing witchcraft and trying to be in the way of Elohim's rule, woe to you. They keep trying to justify their witchcraft by holding on to their flesh. But the same thing that Abba did in preserving a people, because like I said, he will wipe out an entire civilization, which he did already, and save the select few who were obedient to him for his rule and his reign and his history. His word to continue and not return void. He can never lie. His word must do what it's sent forth to do. That's Isaiah 55:11. It must. So all of these people who lying to themselves, thinking that Elohim will choose your flesh over all of eternity, I need you to know you are lying to yourself. Because just as he wiped out a whole civilization and only saved 8 individuals, 8 souls, he wiped out everything else. He washed it away with the flood. He did it before. And in the dream, he did it again. He promised with the rainbow, yes, and the rainbow belongs to him. It is a sign to his people that he will never flood the entire earth again. But it didn't say he wouldn't send a flood. It said he wouldn't flood the entire earth. But humanity failed him then. Humanity failed itself then. Humanity defiled itself then. And humanity that is defiling and failing itself now, he will wash it away to ensure those who have been obedient, those who have endured for righteousness, Those who came before us, the thousands and millions of people throughout all of the civilization that have already lived and are of the living. He will continue to preserve his word for all of those righteous ones. See, it's not just about this current generation, but the ones who came before us and the ones who will come. And he will not become a liar and destroy all of those who sacrificed and obeyed for the sake of the flesh of the disobedient. He will wash away those who are disobedient and care to walk contrary to him and care to preserve their fleshly ways. He will wipe you all out, wash you all away in order to save the righteous, in order to keep his word, in order to honor his word. He is not going to preserve the unrighteous for the sake of the righteous. Abraham said it. Abraham said it, and what did Yah do? He sent 2 messengers to save Lot. 3 souls down, 3 souls out of a whole entire city. He wiped away a whole city of individuals to only save 3. Three. 4 were pulled out, but his word didn't return void. He said, if you look back, you wouldn't make it. And the one who looked back, her heart considering her children. But that's why he said, even if it came down to that, we would not put anything above him. We are not even to put siblings, relatives, children, anyone above him. Why? Because the hope in the future, eternity and life, in real life, true life, not existence, is more vital. It is the greater thing. His word says it. Men will strive for the gold rather than for brass. So all you people who want the brass, who want to live as they did in the time of Noah and be washed away by a flood, woe to you. But Noah and the 8 souls who obey Elohim and want to usher in his rule and continue in his way and bring forth his righteousness and bring heaven to earth, so the new earth can come, the purified, the cleansed earth can come. The garden, we could return to as it was in the garden. For those who want to be obedient to the way of Elohim, he preserves those. But those of you, woe to you, who want to walk around in the flesh and be washed out by a flood. Woe to you. That is the true love. Just as Messiah did not lie. He did not lie. And he did not allow people to walk around in ignorance. Woe to you who would prefer to hear a lie, so your flesh feels good. So your flesh feels good. Than those who want to stand with Elohim in truth. Remember in the dream, those who were still standing. Those who were preserved. It's not just about my dream, it's the word. Go to the word. Go to Elohim himself. If he's saying to his people, he's bringing in his rule, and he's telling us to be in agreement with his way, and you are standing in the way, and you are walking contrary to what he wants to do, be assured that he's going to preserve his word, his people, in his future forward. And he will remove everything, even if it's a person, a group of people, even if it was a whole country of people, he would let that be washed away. He will defeat every foe. because his word can't lie. It's righteous. That's why he is the judge. That's why he is justice. And he's just. He does justice. He loves mercy. He's humble. He is loving. And he does not forsake all of that bloodshed of his innocent ones, all of their sacrifices, all of their obedience, all of their heart towards him, all of their labor of love towards him and his people, all of them taking the time to be set apart to seek him, to know what he desires, to dwell in his presence. Those who have put in the heart for the Father and his people, he is not going to just forsake his word or forsake them, because nothing separates us from his love. He's not forsaking that. His word is definitely not going to turn into a lie for people who want to walk contrary to him. He's not. He will wash those who want to walk contrary to him away. He will wash them away. And he's doing that. So those who thought they could steal from the storehouse of Elohim, those who thought they could steal from the children of Elohim, those who thought they could mimic the children of Elohim, steal the ideas and identity. He literally showed us people who were envious and covetous and tried to replicate what he gave us to do. Tried to replicate ideas. Took ideas and then they tried to assign, when he told us to work with children, and then they tried to assign them working with them. When he told us to do housing and the language, the specific language he gave us, housing and stability. His house is stable. They try to mimic that specific language and ascribe it to themselves, try to take on the identity of Abba's people. But they are the ones, but this is the ones walking contrary. The ones walking contrary try to take on the identity. They try to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Remember the other dreams. They tried to mask themselves continually. Remember the dream with the woman, and she was batting and she was mocking her. She was Spanish and blonde hair and it looked like a wig. Why did he show us so many people, even on YouTube, that literally fit that description? And now some people have dyed their hair a different color, changed their wigs, changed their weaves, changed the artificial things. I'm not knocking people who are not wearing the natural body that the Father gave them. I'm making a point to what the Father has revealed and showed us. He is natural. Elohim is all natural. There's no artificial anything in him. Nothing artificial. He changed nothing about himself. He changes not. He's all natural. Elohim is all knowing. Elohim is all knowing. His word doesn't lie. If you claim to be a believer, it doesn't matter if you are Catholic, Christian, if you identify yourself. Elohim might not identify you as that, but you might identify yourself as Muslim, Catholic, Christian, non-denominational, Jewish, Hebrew, Israelite, believer, spiritist. You might identify yourself by these different titles. But there's only one Elohim, and he is all-knowing, and he sees all things. And just as we were instructed not to deny his word, just as we were instructed not to compromise on him, just like we were instructed to follow his instructions and obey him and get out of the way when he tells us to, and share what he gives us to share, speak out what he gives us to speak out, and to continue on with him in his way. Continue on with him. Don't compromise Elohim. True belief. His word doesn't return void. He never lies. He never lies. He never lies. And it says, just because you try to enter into an early marriage, the witness that his word is true? The word says he considers a man and a woman a marriage union. Today you can have a justice of the peace. You can go to certain churches and they can marry off a woman and woman, a man and man. It's not a marriage in Elohim's eyes. So just because you have a paper certificate, a ceremony according to man, according to a priest, it doesn't make it a true marriage. That's why Messiah says, we put that book out there. People didn't want it to be put out. You see how the adversary was fighting us? For how many days did it take? From the 29th till yesterday? Trying to delay the way of Elohim. But you praying against that? You saying Elohim and his sons and his marriages and his unions won't happen? You're a liar. Because it's already established. He established it before time. He said to Tobiah, she was already ordained to be your wife before time. Before he was even born, before he was even in his mother's womb. So all of those other fake marriages where all the other men, Abba still allowed it in her life to be done in order. They died. Because there was a spirit that after her and loved her, and that Elohim destroyed it. When the rightful union, like he's destroying things now. All of those things that stood in his way of his rightful unions. All of those people that thought they could come and walk contrary to him. And he doesn't, like I said, it didn't matter if it was a whole state of people. It didn't matter if it was 10,000, 400,000, 300,000 against one. How many prophets of Satanists, of the mighty ones, of the deities came against Elijah? One of Elohim's children against the many, and he will choose his one all every time. He will leave the 99 and get a one. He will preserve one. He preserved 3 souls out of a whole city of people. He preserved 8 souls out of the entire world. He even said to Moses, get out of my way, because I will destroy all these people and only preserve you, one, and build up a whole new nation from you. But it was Moses' compassion on the people. He saw his father be compassionate in a moment, and he turned around and was compassionate and reminded the father of that. And the father considered his heart and considered that and was in agreement with that. Because that's also the word. And it says it again in a renewal. Putting the others above you. And that's what we are doing. We will put the righteous ones above you. We will absolutely, I will pray that the Father preserves the righteous ones. In their efforts, in their prayers, in their laboring, all that they have been going through for years, I will pray that he will preserve, that they have been contending and they have been dutiful and they have been loyal and they have been committed over those who want to walk contrary. I will absolutely say, yes, Father, you witnessed all that these ones who love you have endured for your name. They've endured being treated and oppressed. 20 years that Jacob served Laban and he cut his wages 10 times. He endured for that. Over 12 years, Joseph was being taunted, traced by Potiphar's wife. That wasn't even considering the other years of imprisonment and enslavement he went through. They endured for the cause of Elohim and were elevated because they were trustworthy servants that were obedient, that he could trust to carry out his word. David endured for years, even against Saul, who was supposed to be someone that would have been like a mentor to show him the way. And he did get his training. But he also got a greater training from Elohim. And even still, because he said, Yah had anointed you, I won't kill you, I'll put my hand to you. But there came a time where Saul would not get out of the way. Times where he would not get out of the way. He was trying to stand in the way of Elohim's rule. Elohim's word going forth. And his word cannot lie. So anything that is in the way of his word being fulfilled, it will be removed. Abel's blood still cries out until all of Cain's offspring are destroyed. Abba loves Abel that much. He surely loves the blood of the slain innocent ones all around the world. He still loves the innocent ones who are presently living. He still loves all of those who are of the living, whether they be asleep or whether they be alive. You think that he's not going, he always gets vengeance. He always gets justice. He always balances the weights and the scales. It doesn't matter if they are sleeping and they've been sleeping for 10 and 20 years. He will still answer their prayers and still fulfill things in his time and according to his righteousness. If there have been generations of your bloodline that have prayed for the people to return to Elohim, for all of their labors to not have been forsaken for generations, he will certainly continue to fulfill it. You have to remember there are greater purposes and plans at work than your flesh. Than you saying, oh, but I want these two people to be together. Oh, but I want them to still work with me at my job. And he's like, release them because I have a plan and a purpose for them. And they are going to fulfill what I've called them to fulfill. It is not for you to decide. That's why I said it's not for me to decide. I can consider these things that the Father gives me consider. That he has the moving pieces. He has hold of the body. He knows where every blood cell goes. He knows where every neuron goes. He knows where every organ belongs. He knows where every sheepfold belongs. He knows where every man belongs and every woman belongs and whom they belong to. He knows the two that he crafted and created together. He knows the rib that he pulled from that man and made the woman. He knows every union he has ordained. The union of the sheepfold, the union of the assembly, the union of the bride, the union of husband and wife, the union of his body being one. And he will not allow his word to return void. Because there have been generations praying for a righteous generation to rise up, praying for the rule of Elohim to be ushered in, praying for heaven to come to earth, praying for the new Shamayim to be here, praying for righteousness to reign, praying for things to be put in order in the balance of the weights and scales, praying for justice, praying for righteousness, praying for Elohim's vengeance to prevail for his righteous ones, praying for the righteous never to be forsaken. So he will not let the flesh of humanity to stop and get in the way of his rule of righteousness, of not forsaking the righteousness, of not forsaking his beloved ones. There's always a greater work. It's been eternal. This has been the plans for since the beginning. That's why we keep telling people to seek him, to know him, to love him, to trust him, to abide in him, obey him is the best way because he is the best and he knows what is best. For those of you who are believers or who claim to be believers, who claim to love Elohim, claim to love God, claim to love Christ, claim to love Messiah, claim to love righteousness, claim to be renewed and reborn. Renew your mind. Let your mind be cleansed and washed to what the word says. Not my voice, Yah's voice. Not my words, Yah's word. This is why he literally had us to share and release his scriptures as a reminder and a daily upliftment and encouragement of seeking him in all things, in his righteousness and not the world standard. There is nothing in the word that tells you about dating and all of this kind of stuff. He has a way that is righteous. He has a way that is righteous. You multitude of contrary walkers to the Elohim. You, again, anybody doing witchcraft, anybody trying to do mind control, what are those things? Hypnosis. You're not of Elohim. You do those things in ill intent. You do those things against Elohim himself. Because he has a way that is righteous. Not which seems right unto me. But you are wrong in doing witchcraft and thinking that that is of Elohim. It's not. And he will not preserve your life as long as you remain in death. As long as you continue to count yourself unworthy of the way to eternal life. Now, Yahuwah rebuke you all who are walking contrary to Elohim. And Yahuwah preserve your righteous. Preserve your beloved ones who you already said will be saved. Just as you keep revealing to us in dreams, just like you have informed all of your taught ones, and your committed ones, and your loyal ones, and your faithful ones, and your elect, and your purpose, and your chosen, and your anointed, and your appointed ones all over the earth, and your apostles, and your prophets, and your elders, your true ones all over the earth. And I am deliberately making a distinction in this message because there are those who are contrary, who are trying to go against and trying to stand in the way and trying to block the kingdom of Elohim, but it won't stand. It is washed away according to the word of Elohim. Elohim's word will come forth. Things have already to be a witness and a warning to those who are trying to block it. But you cannot stop what Elohim has spoken. His word never lies, and it doesn't return void. Now, I encourage all of you believers to continue to seek Elohim, to continue to abide in him. I encourage all people to do that. Continue in his way. Continue in his righteousness. Know him and seek him and love him. Because as I said, as he has done and as he said, he would get rid of a civilization of people who were disobedient to preserve one. He was going to do it with Moses. He got rid of a whole city of people who were disobedient and contrary to him, only for three souls to be preserved. He was honoring his word to Abraham. He was honoring his own word. He honored the prayer of Abraham. Would you destroy would you destroy the righteous for the sake of the unrighteous? And Elohim said, no. I would save a whole city down to 10 people. I would save a whole city of even people who are unrighteous for the sake of 10 righteous ones. That's what the word said. To the 10 righteous ones. He saved 8 souls and wiped and washed away an entire world of people. Only to preserve 8. Do not think that Elohim's justice and vengeance and righteousness is not righteous. Because it is. He will preserve the righteous. Always. His beloved ones. Those who, I know you love me because you keep my commands. If you love me, you will keep my commands. Seek Elohim. Know what he has to say about it. But do not think that just because if there are 1,000 of you, 10,000 of you, Gideon's army, he could put 300 against 10,000. Do not think that because the few will be destroyed over the evil ones. They won't. Yes, he has martyrs and purpose and plans. But he will not forsake what all Messiah went through. Paul went through. John, Abel. So many. He won't forsake his word. He will never forsake the righteous. He will not let his word return void. Anyway, peace and blessings. Shalom. Thank you, Father, for this day of prep of Shabbat. Thank you. You have been releasing, removing, and washing away the leaven in your body. Not only in the body, yes, in all of our lives, and mine included, but not only in your body and across the earth, but you have been removing the leaven from even the wicked. You warn them. You're warning the ones who walk in contrary, and they got the warning. But just as surely as you have been giving this message to your people around the world, and those who know your word and know your voice have received of you, Father. Receive what you are saying. They are receiving what you're saying to know that you are surely You are surely going to fulfill your word. It will not return void. Those who you are going to save are going to save. Those who didn't have any time, who were going contrary and he had no time to even make a different move because they were just adamant, they were decided on walking contrary. And they are washed away. Washed away. Washed away. Abba says the word says there's no excuse for anyone. No excuse for anyone. And we will be judged on everything we say and everything we do, but we are not only accountable for what we know, but the word also says we are accountable for what we don't know. The books of wisdom say that. If we remain willfully ignorant, if you think, I'm not going to read the word, I'm not going to seek the Father, I'm not going to obey his command, we are also accountable for remaining willfully ignorant, for not doing our duty. As his word also says, if humanity fails to do their duty, just like divorce is considered for the failures in love, and for those who don't have an understanding, but then when you get the understanding, there's no reason, as Messiah said, for certain leniencies that he allowed in Moses to continue. He said that's for the people who are unlearned, who don't understand. The Father has a greater plan and purpose. And that's why Messiah says when he answers their questions and answered their questions in the word, from the beginning it was not so. Abba has not changed from the beginning. He's the same from the beginning to the end. And there is no end in him. It's eternal. That's why Messiah says, oh, we'll have eternal life, but not, oh, we'll know it. He is the Father of the living, not of the dead. Living eternal life, or are you choosing death? I implore you not to choose death in the ways of death. I implore you to choose life. However, every person has a choice, one, and two. Every person is responsible and accountable to have a relationship with Elohim, to seek him. He said there's no excuse. The evidence is all around us, including in nature, because all of nature obeys Elohim's order. It doesn't transgress. His word doesn't return void. That which transgresses, what does he do? He plucks it out. The tree that didn't produce fruit, he said he put a curse over it because it didn't produce. You're hewn down. So it's like people are worried, like, oh, you're putting word curses. No, the Messiah, and even in the word, it speaks of truth. It speaks of truth. So when you speak of, this is what the Father said, he warns this. This is not putting a curse over you. This is either reciting what the word says, reciting the message, or giving the warning. It's not making it manifest in your life. The Father's word doesn't return void. He is the one who makes things occur and not occur. He is the one who makes the word return void against his people. He is the one that allows nothing to prosper against his people. But he is also the one that allows his vengeance to go forth against his enemies. He is the one that ensures his word does not return void, not man. What is impossible for man? But that's possible with Elohim. You are not, just manifesting things of yourself. It doesn't say in the scriptures, words make worlds. It does say life and death is in the power of the tongue with those that eat it. And what does the whole chapter say? And what does the whole book say? What is the whole context of what he's saying? Be mindful and let your words be sweet and this and that. But also, we don't neglect, as Messiah says, why you only want to hear the things that are pleasing to you. It is the things that are, I'm paraphrasing, challenging and that challenge us, that are a part of those man-making experiences. He tests us. Earth is for testing. That's why I said, seek the Father. His word is good. There's no reason why Anyone can't fall in love with his word. There's no reason why anyone can't fall in love with not fall in love, but Father, there is no reason why no one can rise into loving you. Rise into loving your word. Rise into loving your son. Rise into loving your spirit. Rise into loving your way. Rise into loving your truth. Rise into loving your people. Righteously. Righteously, not the world's way. Abba's righteousness is not about what people just doing what pleases the flesh, because that makes people spoiled, complacent, unfulfilling of their duty to humanity and to Elohim. He is an Elohim of discipline. He disciplines those he loves. So again, it's not for us to walk contrary to Elohim, but walk in agreement with him. This isn't about we just feeling like people agree with me. He didn't say that. He said they've done all of these things to him and they will do the same to you. Anyway, we rebuke Hasatan. We rebuke the lies. Anyone that chooses to forfeit their inheritance, that's on them. But you can't speak on, but these people even trying to speak on behalf of Elohim's people who have already accepted their calling. The Father is revealed, and some of these people revealed to us like they're accepting it. And people and stuff are trying to stand in their way. You can't speak on the behalf of his sons. You can't speak on behalf of his daughters. You can't. You can't stand in the way of Elohim's plans for them. So anyway, as always, seek the Father, his word, love him, know what he's saying, go to him in prayer, all of that. You want his final say, he has the final say. So blessings and shalom to you all. Enjoy your Shabbat prep, enjoy your rest days, enjoy the conclusions of the week of unleavened bread and the Father removing the leavening. The week of just the remembrance and reverence to him and getting rid of that which is contrary to him. The week of thanking him and still praising and worshiping him and delighting in him and loving him and appreciating him. All of it. Every day is Elohim's day. Every day is Messiah's day. Every day is the day of the Ruach. Every day is the day of the Shemayim. Every day is a day of the opportunity in the land of the living. Every day is a day and the opportunity for eternal life. Every moment. The day belongs to the day, and those of the day are sons of Elohim, the sons of light. Anyway, so thank you, Yahuwah, for your word that always comes forth. You always give us the word that we need, and it always comes in the moment that it is needed. Your Ruach flows, and we reject everything that is contrary to you. Everything. 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 We reject every lie contrary to you. We reject every spirit, every principality. We reject everything that is operating, even trying to be operating through people that is contrary to Elohim. We reject it. And Yahuwah, you rebuke it. In Yahushua Mashiach. Amen. Shalom. Peace.